Hello, Rama Puppodu. Hope all are in good health, feeling great, wonderful, having a happy and peaceful life. Now let's continue with TKS. In 1963, there was a German mystic, Lucy Cornelsen, who studied Tamil while staying in Germany because she wanted to translate Bhagavan's collected works from original Tamil to German. She translated it and wanted a verification of it. So she came to the ashramam, but nobody helped her. Again, it was TKS who told me, she is a mystic. Prostrate before her. Lucy became Lucima for me. The collected works in German were verified and perfected with the help of TKS. Though an erudite scholar, he was the epitome of simplicity. Many people did not know about TKS because he was so unobtrusive. Once, when I was typing a long passage dictated by TKS in the office, Duncan Greenlees, a Westerner devoted to Bhagavan's teaching, came in. "What are you typing? May I read it?" I said. "Yes, of course." It was a beautiful passage of Bhagavan's teachings. He said, "Can you tell me who wrote this?" I replied, "My teacher TKS." "Do you have any more of his writings?" he asked. I replied, "I have got 6 or 7 files." Duncan Greenlees pleaded with me. "Will you please give me these files? I will take them and edit them." This book that Duncan Greenlees edited most beautifully is At the Feet of Bhagavan. When Greenlees brought the manuscript, he asked me, "What title can we give it?" I suggested that it be called At the Feet of Bhagavan. TKS was very happy and said, "Go and place it at the feet of Bhagavan." I took the manuscript to Bhagavan's shrine. I spent hours with TKS. Most of the time, he would be silent. He would take me around the hill or up the hill to Kanda Ashramam. Sometimes, when he spoke, he would say things of tremendous interest. He once told me, "Ganesan, when I was with Bhagavan, he once told me Siddha Purushas living in Tiruvannamalai, India, and elsewhere in the world all come to Arunachala to go around the hill. Sometimes they come in the form of light." Bhagavan told TKS and some others that he had seen this light. He continued, "If one has true devotion, one can see the light." TKS told me, "Many of us old devotees have seen that light moving around Arunachala, having a longing, Ganesa, but do not expect, do not put a time frame, do not even say it must be seen, and do not have arrogance. Have complete prayerful humility, and it will be revealed." I would like to share with you that I have seen this light not once but 3 times. The first time I was alone, and the second time I was with a Japanese group. I was sharing with them that this light could be seen. They sincerely asked, "Can we also see it?" I looked and it was there. All of them saw it and all of them prostrated before it. The third time was in 2003. It was around 6:30 p.m. when I was going around Arunachala with a group of devotees from Madurai, around 60 of them, Nochur, Venkataraman, and a few others around the hill. As we were approaching the Panchamukha Darshan spot, we decided to sit on a rock. As we sat, the Madurai devotees realized that it was getting late for dinner at the ashramam. Saying so, they left us. I suddenly remembered that T.R. Ramachandran, a close friend of mine, used to chant the Shivopasana mantra. Sadhyo Jatam Prapadyami Sadhyo Jataya Vai Namo Nama. Whenever we sat on this rock, I asked Nochur Venkataraman whether he could chant that. He chanted the mantra while we were sitting there listening to it. Soon after the chant, we prostrated, and as we got up, we all saw the light. One day, some Vedic scholars, along with TKS, were going round the hill chanting the Sama Veda. They suddenly saw 4 or 5 tigers seated in the middle of the road. Petrified, they stopped chanting. For a long time, the tigers looked at them and then got up and disappeared into the forest. Bhagavan was at Kanda Ashramam. TKS ran to him and told him what had occurred. Bhagavan said, "Why did you stop chanting the Vedas? They were Sita Purushas, eager to listen to your chants. You should have continued chanting the Vedas." TKS told me that inside the mystical Arunachala there are vast realms. He said that Bhagavan had shared this vision with him. Thrice, Bhagavan had visions of being inside the hill. TKS said he had also had that experience. I would like to reveal that I have also had this experience of being inside the hill. Have faith, trust the mystery, have devotion, be humble and surrender. If a person is elder to you, even by a day, prostrate to him or to her, and then humility will come, and you will enjoy this spiritual freedom. Prostrating to another person, it's not enslavement, it is freedom, blissful spiritual freedom. Bhagavan was very kind. Once, Chinnaswamy had a quarrel with TKS because he had gone and prostrated before a saintly lady. "When Bhagavan is here, why did you go and prostrate before another?" shouted Chinnaswamy. TKS was upset and so did not have his food. Early in the morning, when he arrived, Bhagavan was making idlis in the kitchen and saw his disturbed face. He said, "Come on, sit down and eat some idlis." TKS replied, "Bhagavan, I have to rush to the school. I have classes." "Hey, the cat is out of the bag. Today is Sunday. How can you have school? Come on, sit down." Bhagavan brought a leaf and put it there. "I have made some special sambar." Bhagavan sat next to him and piled up the idlis. TKS later said, "I have never eaten so many idlis in my life." In his earlier days at Ramana Ashramam, Bhagavan would dry his towel on a clothesline at the further end of the hall. There was a sparrow's nest with 3 or 4 eggs there. One day, while Bhagavan was pulling out the towel, one egg fell down and cracked. Bhagavan was taken aback. He told the attendant, "Look, look, see what I've done today." He took it up and looking at it tenderly exclaimed, "Oh, the poor mother will be so sorrow-stricken, perhaps even angry with me for causing the destruction of her expected little one. Can the cracked eggshell be pieced together again? Let us try." He then put a wet cloth around the egg and said, "I hope Arunachala will save me from this sin." He put it back and every few hours he would come and change the wet cloth. After 7 days he saw that the crack had healed and said, "Look, what a wonder! The crack had closed. And so the mother will be happy and will hatch a egg. Arunachala has freed me from the sin of causing the loss of a life." One fine morning the egg hatched and the little young one came out. With a gleeful face, Bhagavan took the chick in his hand, caressed it with his lips, stroked it with his soft hands, and passed it on for all to admire. Once, TKS narrated to me a special dimension in Bhagavan's solicitude. Bhagavan's solicitude towards the wives of those serious seekers who chose to be with Bhagavan at Arunachala and serve him was extraordinary. He referred to many incidents that took place in the lives of Murugana's wife, Sub-Registrar Narayana Iyer's wife, and my mother Nagalakshmi. In the light, he unfolded a page from his life's book. TKS had lost his wife, leaving him with a son. This plunged him deeply into spiritual striving, but his elder relatives pressurized him to marry again. TKS stoutly refused. One day, unable to deal with their continued pressure, he went to Bhagavan's presence. Bhagavan was up on the hill. Looking at him, Bhagavan said, "Allow life to take its own course. Do not resist. All will be well at the end." He further added, "When one is directly under the sun, can darkness ever creep in?" TKS agreed to marry again. His second wife bore him 2 children. Bhagavan was extraordinarily kind to TKS' second wife, paying special attention to her whenever she happened to be in his presence. TKS told me that many of the scholar devotees and affluent devotees ignored him. He reasoned it out by saying, Perhaps their indignation was due to my being very poor and not possessing any academic qualifications. They used to openly insult me. After all, you are only a school teacher. When I became morose and sad on hearing this, TKS patted me on my back and said, Bhagavan always treated me with extraordinary love, affection, and care. Can there be a more fulfilling treatment meted out to me than Bhagavan's solicitude? In 1933, at the age of 36, TKS still felt incomplete. So he prayed to Bhagavan, Bhagavan, show me your real form. Bhagavan said, sit down there, and directed his glance of grace. TKS' heart opened and he closed his eyes in ecstasy. Bhagavan told him, whatever you want to see, see now. TK's chosen form of God was Rama, so he asked to see Rama. For 2 hours he had the darshan of Rama crowned, seated on the throne with his wife Sita, surrounded by his brothers and with Hanuman, the monkey devotee, at his holy feet. When he came out of ecstasy, Bhagavan asked, what did you see? TKS shared the description of what he had seen. Bhagavan said, go and bring Dakshinamurti Ashtotram. Ashtotram means 108 names. Read the 5th verse. In it, the name given to Dakshinamurti is Yoga Pattabhiramaya Namaha, which means Dakshinamurti is Rama. It is said that Rama's capital city, Ayodhya, has 8 corners and 9 gates. Tiruvannamalai has 8 corners and 9 gates. Tiruvannamalai is Ayodhya and Rama is Arunachala, Dakshinamurti. TKS said, I wanted a god, a scripture, and a devata, a god in form to be worshipped. Bhagavan became my universal god. His collected works became my scriptures, and Rama was my devata. Bhagavan proved that he was Rama by giving me Rama Darshan. Once I asked him, how did you compose the mantra Om Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya? TKS was kind enough to share the following. From my early childhood, I was deeply devoted to Lord Krishna. Generations after generations of our family were initiated into the mantra Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Vasudeva is another name for Sri Krishna. Hence, I read with great interest and delight the Bhagavad Gita and Srimad Bhagavatam. I longed to have the vision of Sri Krishna. One day, a line from the Bhagavad Gita where Lord Krishna declares Jnani tu Atmaiva Meva Matam, meaning the Jnani is my own self, went deep into my heart. I thought, while I have at hand Bhagavan Ramana, who is himself Vasudeva, why would I worship and long to have the vision of Sri Krishna separately? Thus I contemplated, I want one single mantra, a single God and a single scripture, so that there is no conflict of loyalties. Suddenly it dawned within my heart, O Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya. My heart continued resounding with it without a gap. I ran to Bhagavan and told him of the advent of the sacred mantra. He bestowed the mantra with his full approval. Later, I counted the syllables in the new mantra. It was 12. The Vasudeva mantra too contained 12 syllables. I was delighted. Coming to know of Bhagavan's full approval of the mantra, the ashram management accepted it so fully that they even altered the original ashram crest so that beneath the symbol of Om, the words Sri Ramana Ashramam was replaced with Namo Bhagavate Sri Ramanaya. Before coming and settling down permanently at the ashram, I had worked in 2 different firms. I had divided my first month's salary from each firm into 2 and sent it to my 2 Upagurus, my mother and my teacher TKS. Those were the last days of my revered teacher. He was very seriously ill and bedridden in a house opposite the ashram. I was visiting him every day. It was his last day. He said, Ganesa, these people who look after me are very poor people. So please utilize the amount in this envelope for my funeral expenses. I want you to carry my body, chanting Arunachala Shiva, all the way to the cremation ground. Though I was crying all the time, I asked him, How did you get so much money? He smiled graciously and said, You remember twice you had sent me your first month's salary for my daily expenses? I did not spend it. They were so dear to my heart. Now you yourself can spend it on my last journey back to Arunachala. He gave me a pat on my head and said, This is my blessing to you. See, I am giving you my all. Can anything else in the world equal the beauty and splendor of that single touch of wisdom? O Lord, grant me the boon that my tongue should constantly repeat your sacred name, even if my mind strays away. அவ்வை போ லெனக்குன் நருளை தந்தனை யாளுவ துன்கட நருணாச்சலா. Like a mother, you gave me grace and kindness. It is your debt to rule over me, Arunachala. That's all, folks. Let's continue in the next chapter. Thank you. Bye bye. Rama Rama Pupoda.